Thank you very much, Sanjay. So first and foremost, let me first start off by thanking you all for being here. Thank you for making the conscious decision of not being passive in our common struggle. My name is Alex Dumesle. That's how it's spelled. That's how it's pronounced. It's a little uncommon. It is has a French twist to it. I'm from a company called Ever Energy. I'm responsible for engineering. What we do essentially is we're a small, upcoming development company. We do all sorts of services and collaborate with other developers to help them move along their projects and build their own projects. So we do anything from feasibility studies to finding financing, offering marketing services, and managing construction. What I'm going to talk to you about, I guess I'm the lucky one here, is I'm going to talk to you about procedural improvements. We've all heard throughout the night all sorts of comments, suggestions, and building on that and all of the sort of the obvious shortcomings of the OPA process. A lot of solutions have been brought forward by this coalition, and I think a lot of you are going to love some of the stuff that's going to be presented here. A lot of you are going to have a lot of comments on this. This is sort of the hot topic where we get into details about what we think should be done about this painful process we've been going through. Okay, so this is really done to address two major topics. The first one being the market instability that's been created by the process, and secondly, sort of the limits that have been imposed by the policies in place for a really big portion of the market that's as my colleagues have been mentioning, captures a lot of the jobs that have been created, and this is in small businesses. Okay, so first and foremost, let's talk about instability in the market. So we want to ensure market stability, and in terms of contracts, there's a lot of things that are at stake. Let me go back. Okay, that was my slide. Sorry about that. Let's talk about stability in the market. So the first thing, everyone will agree here in this room, that no one here would be very hot and very enthusiastic about putting any time, effort, and money. If you were go out to buy, let's say, a fancy TV, and you were going to the marketplace, or you were even just calling, and the people in this marketplace weren't able to tell you if they had any TVs to sell to you, what models they had, what colors, and even if they had any, would they actually sell them to you or someone else? Obviously, you wouldn't be very hot on that. And you would be a fool, really, to spend any money on something where people are actually telling you, well, yeah, buy it now, but I may call you later and tell you that, you know, I need a bit more money for what you just bought. Or I'm going to change the terms and you need to now pay me bi-weekly instead of monthly. Or this is sort of the situation that a lot of us are in if you're dealing with this. And most of you guys are involved directly into the process. And this is why we think first, what needs to happen is that we need to improve transparency in the process. One thing that's already been mentioned is that we're going to be recommending that the OPA publish a list of where it desires to grow capacity in the short term and in the long term. This will allow the OPA to shrink down its list of applications that are sort of undesirable, and it'll also allow developers and potential clients, potential project owners to really know what's what and know what to expect. Secondly, what we're proposing is to introduce a filtering process for applications. Very crucial, because at this point in time, many of you have gone through this, you've put in an application, and 12 months later, all it says on your OPA page is submitted. Your $500 check has been cashed in, but you haven't heard anything from them. We strongly believe that what needs to happen is that applications need to be scanned. This is Operations 101. Applications need to be scanned for errors, for eligibility, for the basics. This could be done by cheaper labor, for example, but they're trained to look for the key points. This will again allow the process to breathe, remove some of that bottleneck. It would reduce the process costs for the OPA, and it would give us answers much faster, so you wouldn't have to wait more than a year to learn that you were missing a key piece of information in your application, and you had to start all over. Instead, what we're recommending is that applicants be informed if they're eligible already and their application is complete. If it's not complete, they should be given the grace period. We're proposing 30 days, where their timestamp may be moved, but there would be no additional fees for them just to correct and just stay in line in the queue. Other important points regarding contracts is to increase the contract frequency. Obviously, if you want to create a stable market stability is highly dependent on a fair balance. It's dependent on a stable supply and a stable demand. And this has to be bonded by rules that, concrete rules that people can live with so they can know how to identify opportunities. So to create a higher flow of work, you need to release a higher number of contracts at a higher frequency. For microfits, what we're proposing is to renew their 2-month contract turnaround commitment and to implement monthly contract releases. For fit projects, on a slightly larger scale, we would like them to commit to a 30-day application review turnaround time. So filter your application within no more than four weeks, and then commit to a review of a minimum number of applications. They should publish this number, say, in this quarter we will review no less than 1,000, or say 500 fit applications, and tell us which applications there'll be, so you know what to expect. You can plan, you can start managing your business as it should be. And finally, like I said, implement quarterly contract releases. Now the second point, and this brings us to the other aspect I was mentioning, is that right now we believe that although the program is good in itself, it has fantastic intentions, there are some invisible limits here that are sort of preventing a huge segment of the market to take advantage of this whole program, and we think that this should be reinforced by non-monetary incentives. And this market being small, medium-sized enterprises, whether it be developers that are small or medium-sized, or potential clients. Just thinking about that these businesses constitute 80% of our workforce. They have a huge drive in the economy, a huge potential. The humongous roofs that are above 50,000 square feet are not the norm. Most business owners have small stores, small real estate, and they should be able, the economics should work for them as well, and they should be given an extra nudge if we want to make this work on an environmental level, social level, and economic level. So what we're proposing is first and I'll just give you a few examples. So existing rooftop structures, I think one of the most important recommendations here is to allow all businesses, regardless corporations, sole proprietorship, all legal entities, to be able to partake in the microfit program. So if you own that piece of real estate, it's yours. There should be no reason for you not to be eligible for that program and get the same rate. It may be a different story when you're leasing. We'll get into that, or maybe we can jump right ahead. We think that the CFIT program is long overdue. This is for commercial aggregators. If you're leasing property, you don't own it, but you want to take advantage of, you want to be able to build your business on volume. We think that this program is way overdue. There may be some differentiation that needs to happen between a multinational corporation building an empire based on their solar projects, or a small business owner that's leasing a few buildings or a few plots of land. But we think that it's now time to have this put in place in FIT 2.0. And finally, microfit. From a microfit standpoint, we think that we have a lot to gain. Right now, a lot of microfits have been, as we know, developed in urban and rural areas. If we want to start having a real impact, making a social change, for example, we need to start having more of these projects developed out in the cities. And the reality is unless you own mansions, which most people don't, you're going to be building much smaller projects. And so we would like the OPA to facilitate the process for smaller project applications, like 3 kilowatts and smaller, so that it's more of a plug-and-play approach where you have a lot more certainty in getting your approval from the OPA. So that's some of the ideas that have been tossed around. We welcome your comments, and thank you for your time.